Bismillah, salatu wassalam, Rasulillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري يسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Our county supervisor, Orange County Supervisor Andrew Doe, is conducting a town hall meeting to discuss public safety in our county, in Orange County. This is because, according to the data, the crime rate has gone up 23% since last year. Major crime rate has gone up, and property crime in some counties has increased 50%. So he is very concerned about this, and this is mainly due to two laws that were recently passed. One was a law which was called the realignment law, prison realignment law. Basically, what happened was due to the complaints in the state prisons that the inmates were not given proper medical care, dental care, and mental health care. The three judges from the federal court ordered them to decrease the prison population. And this went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court in May of 2011, it upheld that ruling. So under that, the state of California, the prison system, they decreased their population. Basically, they transferred the prisoners from state prison to county jails. And county jails now have more prisoners they can handle, and they're not equipped to handle these kind of major crime prisoners in their thing. So another proposition was passed, Proposition 47, California Prop 47, which basically says that it is some of the felony crimes are reduced to misdemeanors. Like before, if you were found in possession of drugs, you would go to jail. But now, under this law, the new law, it is not a crime to carry drugs for your personal use. Only you cannot carry drugs to sell or something like that. So they just write you up and let you go. And another law that passed was it is no longer a felony to steal. It is a misdemeanor. So if somebody steals property which is under $950, then they will write them up and release them. So what happens was the Garden Grove Police Department says that it is not unusual for them to catch a prisoner twice in the same day, catch the same person twice in the same day. And according to the city officials in Garden Grove, the Garden Grove police is understaffed and overworked. And the prisoners keep increasing, and the crime keeps increasing. It is cause for alarm. What will happen to the neighborhoods? So when these people, who are doing drugs, they run out of money, they just charge their Prop 47 card. They go and steal something which is under $950, and they get the money to do the drugs, and the crime keeps repeating. In Islam, though, it is forbidden to do drugs because it causes great harm to the body, and it causes the person to lose sense of what they're doing. If a person is stoned, is doing drugs, he could go murder somebody, and he wouldn't realize what he has done. And also, it makes people insane, and it has um, other effects of making the people impotent. Doing drugs makes them impotent. And stealing is also, we know, is a big crime. But under the laws here in the United States, every crime is punished by imprisonment, incarceration. But under Islamic law, every crime is not, the incarceration is not considered the answer to every crime. Under the Islamic law, if you steal, and there are certain conditions that it has to be the property stolen has to be of a certain value, and it has to be done stealthily, and it has to be taken from a place where people usually keep their things, and it has to be proven by two witnesses or by the thief himself admitting it twice. And the person whose property it is, he also has to ask for the property back. If he does not ask for the property back, then the punishment, the had punishment, which is cutting of the hand, does not apply to him. But cutting of the hand is not such a un, unheard of thing. Amputation, our brave soldiers, they go to war, and oftentimes they have their whole leg or their whole arm or some part of their body amputated. So it is not an unheard of thing. But when a thief is under the gun that he is going to be amputated if he steals, he will not steal. And if somebody steals and you amputate their hand, then it serves, they will not steal again. Not only they will not steal again, but they will be known as a thief because of the hand is cut off. And other people also, it will lose their appetite for stealing. Just seeing what happened to him, they will correct themselves. When this law was enforced in the Islamic State, there were few people who were amputated, not many amputations. But there was no crime. Nobody would steal anybody's property. Right now, the gangs, it was in the papers, Andrew Dorr, the county supervisor, wrote in the paper that the gangs are laughing. They're saying that do crime, property crime, do no time. You can go steal and you don't have to do any time. And the Prop 47 was passed by the people because they thought that these people, these kids, our kids, they deserve a second chance. They shouldn't be thrown in prison. They should be given rehabilitation. But these kids who do the drugs, they don't go to rehab. They just keep doing more drugs, and now it's easier for them to buy the drugs because they can steal. They can steal anything worth $950. In San Bernardino County, they caught a person stealing, shoplifting in the shop, and he had a calculator with him to make sure that he doesn't go over $950. So this is the situation, and the prisons are keeping getting crowded, and if the same laws, the same punishments keep, if we keep to the same punishments, it's not going to help. Indeed, in a report by the Public Policy Institute of California in December of 2013, they concluded that we have to come up with new ways to deal with this crime, new, more intelligent, more smarter ways to deal with these things. So cutting of the hands is a smarter way to deal with the criminals. And then drugs also in Islam. If you do drugs, you have to be, the had punishment is 80 lashes. And if you keep repeating it, according to some reports, the Prophet ﷺ said to kill the person, but the same report says that a person did it for the fourth time, but he was not killed. So the thing is that when people are on drugs, they say, oh, so long as they don't not harming anybody, they can do whatever they want. But this affects everybody. When these people are on drugs, they are on the streets. They can go in accidents. They can't think straight. They commit murders, as is evidenced by the increased crime rate. That major crime has increased 23% since the passage of these laws. That's not a joke. So if it continues the same way and we do not look into other ways of dealing with the crime, such as giving lashes or something like that, different ways of dealing with it, and not just ignoring it, saying, oh, they're doing it for them, they're doing their own drugs, so what, they're not harming anybody, they're not selling to anybody. No, they're harming themselves, and eventually the whole society will be harmed. And this affects the law and order situation in our country. So if we want to be safe, we have to think of smarter ways to deal with the criminals. And I believe that Islamic ways are the answer to that. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله ولكم.